Hey, this is Frank Schaeffer. I'm sitting here in my bathrobe outside of my studio, having just spent the last couple days recuperating from getting a double hernia fixed, and I'm feeling much better. Great medical care at Massachusetts General Hospital, and they sent me home though with a catheter, rubber tube stuck up you know where, for 2 days because I couldn't pee after the anesthesia. That was a little more than I bargained for, but it's out now. Everything's good. But you know, it brought up a thought at Christmas time, coming into the holidays. You know, Jeannie and I have been married for 45 years, since I got her pregnant when she was 17 and I was 18. And we had Jessica, who's now 45, always the same age we've been together. And you know, sitting there coming out of the anesthesia, I've had a couple of operations, and this time it really struck me. You know, here's this woman I've loved for the better part of 50 years, messing around with this ugly bag attached to my body in a very unromantic way, helping me out. And it made me think back to something about 20 years ago when Jeannie couldn't stop bleeding once and finally wound up having a hysterectomy. And I was sitting there at 3 in the morning watching her hemorrhage into a towel, and then went to an emergency room with her and sat there for hours. And I look back on these times the same way I look back on all the missed opportunities that I so lamented at the time, and I'm so glad now that things didn't work out. You know, thank God I wasn't a success in the movie business, given that I'm already enough of an asshole without having been a success when I was that young. Thank God that I had to work for stuff. And you know, thank God for love in our lives. We got a stupid thing going in this world where people tell us that, you know, you move on from individuals, start over again, that sleeping with people is just a matter of hooking up and physicality instead of the glue that binds a relationship together. But you know, when you go through a little something and you're getting out of the hospital and you've got a woman who loves you, who is caring for you, or you've cared for her in her moments, you really see things differently. And so I just want to, as my Christmas weird greeting this year, tell people, listen, to hell with careers, getting that master's degree, that PhD, everything the world tells you is important. Put the people who love you first. You're only going to have one regret when you die, and that is if you're sitting there thinking, I wasn't loved, and I didn't give in unconditional love. And so, you know, the most beautiful woman in the world is not the one you're having sex with, but the one who is there with you when otherwise you would just be so alone and hurting. And the beautiful man in the world, whether you're gay, straight, transgender, I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not talking about traditional families. I'm talking about relationships, is love. Don't buy this corporate bullshit that the universities sell you, that you need to wait, have a career, do all this stuff before you will attach to someone. Take the risk. The flip side of love is loss. But sitting here in my pajamas, getting over this little surgery of mine, thinking about how much I love this woman, and just seeing that unconditional love happen in my life time and again in little ways, or with my grandchildren, you know, this is the stuff that counts. So if you're a little younger than me, I'm 63, looking back over the road, you know, it isn't the fact I've done a couple of things that people think are interesting that matters. It is the fact that I have had the privilege of receiving unconditional co-suffering love and of giving that. Don't let anything get in the way of that, okay? And hey, thanks for hanging in with me through this weird ramble. If you say that I'm crazy, I'll just say, hey man, you know, I'm still coming out of anesthesia, all right? I got an excuse. I love you. Bye.